So now what we're going to look at is actually creating more animation layers with more into that animation and start bringing in weapons and props for different animations. So we're going to have a look at an idle one and then just a sort of stance with a weapon as such. Just sort of give you that overview of what you can add, what can also be included in these animations. So first things first, you'll see I'm in the animation tab, just picking up from where we last left off. Control S that just so we've got it back up. So it might be in this tab, when you're loading yours up in your armature. What you're going to do is flick over to your animation. I have my walk cycle set up. If you've not named it, make sure you name these correctly. So this is the walk cycle that we set up. I need some refinement, but it's alright for now. So what you want to do is over here in your animation tab, you see this animation, just right click and add. You can also click this plus button here. It's just make life a bit easier, the plus button. Because there's a fresh sort of animation layer. Again, same principles as any other software that we've used. So Maya, when you create your animation layers in there, such. So we can then click rename that, and we are going to make this our idle layer. This is going to be one where I kind of just stood there, just idle. Not really going to be much going off on this one. Again, we're going to keep it to 24 frames. Same as walk cycle, everything's going to loop in 24 frames. We're not going to start adding more frames unless it's something like a big attack or something. But for now, keep everything 24 frames. Same as last time. So first frame wants to be everything. So Control A to select. Sorry, just to select all our bones. We just press K to keyframe that. So you'll see all my bones have just been keyframed on that first one, and then I'm gonna drag it over to 24 and K again, just so we're setting that loop. So the first frame and the last frame are going to be the same, just so we can have that nice loop. What I'm then going to do, this is an idle one, it's not really going to want much. It's not going to want much doing to it. So like keyframe on an 8. What I'm going to do is select that main hip bone that everything works off of, and just bring my character down. So it's like just having the rest, just stood there. That's a bit too much because he's got a nice little bend in his knee. So the reason that bends is because we've set them IKs up earlier. Let's just bring him down slightly. Control A and then K, just to keyframe that. So again, if yours is not automatic keyframing, you might have this turned off, this auto key. You also have your curve editor here that we can look at later on. Set them curves. I'm looking at that a bit further on. But yeah, so all I'm gonna do is bring him down, make it like he's just resting. Not really much to be done on this one. Might make him go a bit, lean forward a bit. Control A K. Take a second for my computer to catch up there. There we go. So you might have him following his arches. The animation principles there. Following the arches, bringing him back and forward. Just so it's like just swaying a little bit. Just idle. He's not really doing much. You might want to adjust his arms. Let's have a look. See how he's looking. Yeah, he's just idle. Bring them out. So when bringing him down, might want to bring them arms down as well. Just ever so slightly, not really doing much. And then bring them across, and he swings across. Just like that. You'll see I've got a bit of an issue here. I don't know if you can see it. So I've not correctly layered these. I've done this on purpose, just so you can see. So you see I've got to frame 16, I've started with keyframes. Oh no, it's not layered properly. The big thing you want to do is make sure this is all layered. You should have in your draw order, but for whatever reason, if you might not have done it. So let me bring that back. What you'll need to do is actually go back to keyframe your first, like 0. Find it in your draw order. So if your draw order is not showing, it's messed up. Again, Windows Scene, Windows Draw Order. Make sure they're ticked. Find that body part. So mine's backhand, and drag it where it needs to be. You'll see then it's then behind. No issues then. Again, so if that's if you've done all wrong, what you want to do is back to 0 and layer it correctly. I did that on purpose so you guys can see what happens. If like you know you've accidentally put things, layered things incorrectly. It happens. I get it. But we try to plan beforehand. Try to make sure everything's layered correctly beforehand. But if not, we can change it. It's not end of the world. And then what we might want to do is go back to the warps again. So I keep, you know, start moving and getting a little bit of sway that he's got on his little bit of cloth here. So again, we need to be in W for pause and just get a slight little sway. It's naturally blowing it wind. And same with his hair. His hair might be blowing away in wind. Slight adjustments again. This is idle, so it's not really nothing much going off. Change them ever so slightly. And then change them again when we get to 16. These are just rough keyframes. Again, you will be spending a lot more time on yours. You might have more keyframes than mine. You might want to do it on different keyframes. I'm just going to get that nice sway in there. Oh, that's too much. Control Z. So there you go. That's just as idle animation. It's got quite a bit of a bend in his leg though. That's quite a fair bend. Let's change that back over to move. So we can click on that hip joint and bring it up slightly. Control A, K. Make sure we couldn't keyframe anymore, so we get a nice tween. Issues with his tweening. There we go. So that's all I'm going to do for this one. This is for final animation. Next, what we're going to do is start bringing in the character's weapon. So let me just hide these from you so you can see. A bit better. There we go. So all it's going to be, it's a nice little idle animation. So we've got that. His hair's moving slightly. He's got a little bit of sway in his cloth. And then, you know, just so you can see, as our animation layer here, my face just doesn't quite cut that out just yet. Hopefully it shouldn't when we're starting more layers. Is you just click on different layers and you'll see we can then place different animations. So there's walk cycle, there's idle, and next we're going to look at actually bringing in a weapon for him to use. So from the files that you already have, you should already have the hammer that we're going to be using in your folders in here. So if it's not, you will have to find it in your folders. To be in this one, it'll be under, where is it? If you sword or hammer, I'm just going to use we'll use sword. In fact, sword's a bit cooler. We'll use that sword. That should automatically be in. If not, just drag and drop it into your library in a second. So what you see, we've got these, and now what we're going to need to do is add another animation layer. So again, this plus icon, or right click and add, and we'll call this the attack. So what we're going to need to do is head over to the armature tab. So we're back over in the armature, and turn these all back on here. Back over in armature, and let's find where we're going to be putting that. Let's see. We'll use sword. You can use sword or hammer, either. It's only going to be held in the hand. It's got a handle, so it's only going to be held there. What I'm going to do is I'm going to have it attached to the character's right arm hand, so it's actual it's front hand, just for a bit of ease. Looks a bit nicer as well. It's not going to really. It'll be a bit daft if it were in his backhand. So what I'm going to do is click on his actual skeleton there for the FA bottom, or front arm bottom, and drag and drop the sword on there. So you'll see it's now attached to that. You'll see that is, when we move this now, it should move the sword with it. You see? So when I move the IK for the hand, it's going to move the sword as well. It's not really overlapping much. The only issue that we have is, can you see here, where the sword actually overlaps the hand? So what we need to do is just in our layers tab over here in the scene, is just make sure that sword is underneath the front hand. I turned it off. Let's grab that, and that's not how it's. So yeah, you might be doing what I'm trying to do there. It's not going to work. Issue for that is we're not in the draw order tab, so you can't be changing it here. Remember, that's your scene. You can't change your draw order in your scene. You know, you might be trying to do what you just see me try and do. You do forget, but hopefully after a few times you will remember. So click over to your draw order and just drag your sword underneath your hand. We might need to change that face just to drop underneath there as well. So good. And let's move that sword to where we need it to be. So then when we move it, there's there's air. We need to bring air down. Bring that just there. Face there. We'll keep the face above. Looks a bit more anime. Looks a bit nicer. And if you do what I've just done there, accidentally click an X, remember it's up here in Windows, just click scene. Not a big deal. So now you'll see there's no issues, it's not cutting through things it shouldn't cut through. And we can move the sword about. Move it to where it needs to be. So what we now need to do is then set up an attack for it. So we've got a sword in and set up his attack. So we click over to animation, you'll see it's automatically added that sword to his animation. It's not put it in the right order we need it to be, so I'll just drag it to underneath front hand and then drag these underneath there. Yeah, that's all set up. So you see, we might have to change it again in draw order just because we've keyframed, but it's a simple thing, simple process that we can change. And you'll see now it should animate everything with it. So you know, you get your walk cycle. That's his idle. Sorry, so we've got his idle, and he's just there automatically. Pause that. Turn off the bones so we can't see him. Turn off selections. There we go. So you can see it. Just nice little idle. Same as walk cycle. So it's there again as walk cycle. But again, we'll have to change it because of layers and orders. We have messed up with it there, but that's fine. It does happen. And drag that underneath there. So you'll see. There we go. Nice little walk cycle as we go. So these orders are keyframed as well, so that can cause issues. So it is best to get that down and sorted first. You don't want to be doing what I'm going to have to do, where I'm going to have to keyframe that layer above it all. Get your orders set up first, because you'll see it pops from and. But yeah, you'll see, just add it on. What happens is we're attaching that image to the lower arm as a root. Similar to when we're in Unreal Engine and you're creating roots in there and constraints. So same principle when you're in Unreal, if you've got an hand and you want to attach a sword, you'd root it to the IK of the hand. Same here. It just follows that path. So what we're going to do is start creating an attack now, and then sort of creating what's going to be known as this character attack. So to do that, similar sort of thing. You're going to want to set a keyframe. So Control A. Select everything, making sure we are in our. Let's turn them on. Let's turn our selections on. Control A so we can select, and then K so we keyframe and everything. Making sure you are in the right animation tab as well. You don't want to be in idle, you don't want to be in walk. You actually want to be in your attack tab. And then we can start creating that attack and getting things ready to sort of be for him to attack. So same again, keeping it at 24 frames. We're not going to go above 24 frames. What I'm going to do is have him sort of bring his leg up and his arm and just sort of do a nice little swoop. So we'll copy these keyframes here. In fact, we'll set a keyframe here at 24 as well. So he's going to loop. Okay, again. Control AK. So yeah, we're just going to create a little attack here. I'll probably do it every 4 frames. Just so you can see. I'm not going to run again. I'm going to pause this video, get to the end, show you again, because it's just going to be the same thing over again. It's going to make a very long video for you. But yeah, again, so remember 0 and 24 need to be the same. Make sure we Control AK them, and then start making your attack. For me, it's just going to be simple. Bring his leg up, bring his arm up, and a nice little swoosh. You'll see that once we're done there. So we're back. I just blocked out the sort of main bit of the animation. This is what you'll see. So all I've done is just nice little attack, little ting, and then it's over with. What I've not done is the secondary actions. So when he brings his arms up, what we can then do is start to bring in secondary actions. So when this starts moving, so the cloth will move with him. You know, as he's moving, creating that overlapping action that is that. Bring some overlap to the air. So the air will swoop back. Let me turn selection or image off. Turn it off. Here we go. And that's automatically keyframed. And then when he comes forward, his air is going to throw forward. As it naturally would. So these are why your morphs come in really handy. You can start morphing things and start throwing things about. That would flow backwards with slight little curving. Again, I'm not doing this off reference. You guys need to do it off reference. You'll get a lot better results. So there you'll see. Oh, let's turn that off so we can see it a bit better. You'll see it's a nice little attack. Nothing too crazy. He's just literally attacking. And that's it. That's basically it. Just for bringing in a weapon, doing a little idle animation, your little animation layers. What we can do is switch over to different layers, see his different animations and whatnot. And then obviously if we didn't want that in, we can just hide the visibility of the sword. But yeah, that's it for that one.